Welcome back, everyone, to the David Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. Joining me is Miss Chardonnay Beaver. What's up, girl?
Hey there, how are you?
Good. How are
I'm
you?
doing great. I'm feeling healthy and balanced and grateful.
Well, you always have great words, and you could tell you're a storyteller and a writer. Now, this is exciting. I got to start off by saying congratulations
Oh,
on all that you've been up to. I mean, the last time we tapped in, it was a long time ago. So you've been up to some amazing
yeah.
things, writing a book, finishing a documentary. Tell us a little bit about this process for you.
Yeah, so I'll start on the back end. So this project was just so important to me. I mean, both projects are so important to me. And I think about a story that's really anchored me through this process. Wasn't too long ago since I graduated from college. And so I had to have something that grounded me, as you know, while you're going through. And I think about this story about a young leader. And the young leader has this dream. And in the dream, God comes to him and he's like, whatever you're wanting, I will grant it, like whatever you're asking for. And so the young leader thinks about it because he has a lot of pressure on his shoulder. And he says, you know what? I could ask for fame and fortune. I could ask for all these things, but grant me wisdom. And here's the key part. He says, grant me wisdom to lead and guide your people. These people don't belong to me. Their lives don't belong to me. My life's not even my own. But grant me what I need so that I can be effective and contribute purpose. And so I gleaned from that story because God told him, you know what? God was in awe. He was like, I could give you wisdom and I will give you an understanding heart, but I'm going to give you everything you didn't ask for because of where your heart was. And I'm missing pieces in the story, but needless to say, that was the heart I needed to have when doing this documentary and when publishing this book.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think about the ways that, folks step up to the plate,
Yeah.
when you talk about leadership, it takes on so many different connotations depending on your lived experience, who you are, all of these things that pour into that
Yeah.
and your perspective of leadership. But I love that story and that you had something to anchor you through the process that was so grounding.
Yeah.
How did it manifest for you as you went from one phase to another throughout the process?
Yeah. So this documentary is called Fulfill the Promise, The Rise, the Fall, the Promise. And I did it in association with the McKinney Center for Community and Economic Development. I know you had some of their peeps out here not too long ago, Sade Moore and folks like that, Gerald Bradford, shout out to them. And so this documentary was really my first take at filmmaking. And I had a team of incredible people. Beaver, who's my sister, she came up here from LA and was my director. And then Masai Matthews, and he went to Seattle Film School, has his own short film out called Building Bridges about Ruby Bridges. And so they knew the heart behind what I was trying to do and came alongside me. And I had to take responsibility as a leader to say, hey, this is the vision. How do we bring each other's greatness, our purpose, our heart, our passion to bring this forth? And that's what we did. And get this, Trae. We started filming not even a week and a half before Christmas. Wild.
Wow.
Wild. And so between September of 2023 to May of 2024 was our process. And I tell you, it stretched me. But I'm proud of that. And then adjacent, alongside that, I was writing my book.
Wow. I mean, to be able to take so much on, you have to have a clear vision
Yeah.
for what you're trying to achieve and accomplish. When you look back, you now have a published book, you're a published author, you have a documentary that you're ready to screen for folks so that they can understand this story and your vision. Just as you reflect on what's about to happen as people take in your book and they take in the documentary, tell us a bit about how important it is that they understand the message that you were trying to put forth in these works of art.
Yeah, I mean, this is the through line of my life. And I talk about this on the first entry of my book. My book is no more than 100 pages. And so it's just entries. And I pulled it together from my columns that I've been writing in my family's newspaper, The Facts, for the past 4 years. And so the first entry I write about is called, it's about my purpose and how I knew from a young age that I had a purpose and a meaning. My parents instilled that in me. They didn't push and promote happiness, but they always promoted the pursuit of purpose. And so I just feel like that's the light that I have to carry in everything I do. Now, it's brought me a lot of different journeys, being a perfectionist and things like that, overcoming that, battles with self-worth. I talk about that in the book as well. but it's made me the person that I am today and the woman that I'm wanting to become. Somebody who's healthy, someone who contributes, someone who allows my vertical relationship to impact my horizontal relationships. I pull a lot from here, from Christ, and allow that to pour out of everything that I do. And so this project, you see my heart in it. Both projects. The documentary, I was looking at it today. I went up to Mount Zion and got to go through the details with the folks there, their history and archive ministry, who's overseen by Reverend Dr. Phyllis Beaumonte, who's my aunt. Let me talk about community. But I sat there and I was looking at it and I said, my goodness, like every hardship from hard drive failing, you guys know what that's like. You know, you look at this and you say, I allowed that to come through me like a child, you know, it sits with you, you let it come forth, and you know that other people are supposed to take part of it. And so this documentary, it's epic for me because it's not just about the McKinney Center for Community and Economic Development, that building that's been sitting on 22nd and Jackson, South Jackson Street for over 50 years now. It's about the community that houses that building. It's about, you know, my great-great-grandfather who migrated by way of the railway to Seattle as an orphan, escaping lynchings in the South. Like that great migration story, as well as like the crack epidemic. We cover so many different layers and topics from our area, specifically the CD, and how this building has evolved as the community has evolved as well.
And you're talking about the old SBI building.
I am.
So, I mean, there's a lot of history here, for sure.
Yeah.
And the beauty of you with a fresh perspective, yet also historically based context, brings so much to the vision of this, in order for everyone else to pour into that vision and for it to be driven in a very specific way.
Yes.
And so I love hearing that, you know, you're taking a compilation of columns and pieces that meant a lot to you that showcase how you chose to pursue purpose, which I love.
Thank you.
Is phenomenal. And for you to be a young woman that has that stern understanding of who you are, how you show up in community, and how community continues to pour into you is so vital. And, you know, when we think about the times we're in right now, where we have a lot of young folks who feel detached from this anchoring of community, which is really about being rooted in love, right?
For sure.
It's important that we have folks like yourself sharing what it's like to be in that connection, and to be tied to essentially the lineage, not just of your family, but of everyone who pours in. So it's beautiful because, you know, we need more of these kind of stories in our community to really showcase the opposite. I think there's a lot of things driving dominant discourse right now that focus oftentimes on a lot of the negative characteristics of our communities, or the issues that we're dealing with therein, the things that come kind of on the outset of it. So I love that you are bringing these works to life. Now, you have an amazing event coming up where you are doing your book signing and the documentary screening. Tell us more about this, because this is so powerful, Chardonnay.
Thank you. Yes. And I loved everything you said, like, to that. So the screening is on July 20th, between 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. at Mount Zion Baptist Church. What better place to honor a story that centers Reverend McKinney, and, you know, the first spot where he just allowed his legacy to activate. And so it'll be in their fellowship hall. We're going to be doing the screening of the documentary. It's 90 minutes, so it's a full thing. You'll have your little snacks and everything like that to enjoy the journey, as well as a book signing. So people who haven't purchased the book can come out. I know Prez, who's part of the family here at Converge, was like, I need to get my book signed. Where can I get my book signed? I said, let's just do a duo event, you know, something positive for the community to come out to. So I'm excited. Everyone can find their tickets on Eventbrite. You could just search up my name, Chardonnay Beaver. And the best part is that it's done with Mount Zion's History and Archive. So I don't know if you know this, but Mount Zion has been keeping their history archive since its beginning. And so they've had it in-house, which I don't know a lot of churches that do that. And so I felt like, why not like add this to that lineage, like you said, of history and community. I'm so blessed. I really am. I'm a beneficiary of people who have poured and have believed that young people, young adults deserve space. And I think that's most evident here at Converge as well. So thank you for having me.
You know, it's always a pleasure. And y'all, I got blessed myself because I have my very own copy here. Words of Wisdom by Chardonnay Beaver. Y'all definitely want to get down there to the book signing, get your own signed copy. You know, one thing I got to say is it's always a pleasure to have you here, Chardonnay. It's clear that you are so rooted and grounded, and you're such a great example.
Thank you.
And it makes me really excited to think about the future of our people specifically, because we do need those leaders, and we need folks to understand their purpose and how they show up in leadership. And you are always doing that to the 10th degree. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you
and
so
for
much.
sharing this moment with me. It's very special for me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Trae. You have been consistent. I know a lot of people look to icons that are like far and outside of their spirit, but you are definitely a pillar in our community. And I just want to give you your flowers because it's sacrifice to show up. It takes time even when you don't feel like it, but you have done it consistently. And so thank you. Thank you for having me.
Wow.
Always a blessing.
Oh my goodness, y'all. Look at this love fest up in here. Y'all know I'm going to be wrapping up all of this love right after this short break. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae.